In any case, what we're going over today is, let's see, it's gi footage, or I'm sorry, it's no gi footage from December 3rd, Saturday, December 3rd. So a nice active Saturday class, digging back about a little over a month ago. So let's dive in. Got Battle of the Daniels to start us off. Walker twins front and center.
Curious to see how Danny handles this guard pull here from Daniel.
Yeah, Big Daniel's got his underhooks both sides. Danny's not really putting up much of a battle to shut those down. Yeah. Daniel just decides to get up. Looks like I think Braden got bopped in the face there. Ooh. Danny throwing up some wacky looking triangles there. It's like a reverse triangle, but a little bit turned on the corner. Let's look at that one more time. So here with a, hard to see what we had there. So this looks more like a side triangle now that I'm looking at it. Reason being the leg that is going across and under Daniel's arm was Danny's right leg. That's typically the way it was hooked is characteristic of a side triangle, not the reverse triangle, which I know is a little confusing when you're looking at it. Gavin looking to knee cut. I like the connection that Gavin's creating to try to pass Braden's guard. He's not just kind of standing outside moving. He's connecting to the knees. Great reversal by Braden.
Yeah.
Braden just slipped in the underhook.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a really high-speed example of the benefit of the underhook for, in this case, the bottom guy. Being able to shuck the opponent past and then taking the back. Gavin, just try to keep your elbow a little closer to your body, a little bit lower, less extended, to prevent something like that.
Braden's working around, almost going for the armbar here, set up. But Gavin looks like he's keeping his,
kept his head in. I wonder, it looks like they're still rolling off camera, but I think
it looked like he let go. I think he got the tap.
Yeah, I think he may have. Meanwhile, Daniel and Danny. Daniel's past the guard. And who else we got? I think we got me and Jason, I want to say. And then it looks like Steven and Duncan. Oh no, that's me and Ted. And Cody and Justin joining the fray. What is that? Is that Steven with Duncan or is that James? Was this before James left? This is early December. No, that is Steven.
Yeah.
Ooh, Danny with the heel hook there. So as Daniel's coming forward, Danny shoots up a standard Irimiyashi Garami.
Yep.
Breaks down Daniel's knee and keeps it captured, and then gets his grip for the outside heel hook. Jordan and Josh, do you guys have WhatsApp? Because that will be helpful for me for getting your videos if they're on
Yep.
your phones. Steven leaving his head out there against Duncan, right up at the top. Steven swims in on an underhook, believes his head a little low and exposed. Duncan locks up. Oh, almost gets the guillotine, but Steven pops his head out. He locked up close guard, which was a great position. Okay. We get that sorted out. So Gavin, that's the danger of that guard pass. If you can't beat both knees and your opponent keeps one knee in, yep, Braden can immediately shoot up to the, if he can get that right leg over the hip. It looks like he did a good job blocking it. But that'll give him an Ashi Garami entrance. What happened there?
Gavin passed without the underhook again.
Just super fast, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta establish the underhook on the knee cut pass, Gavin. And that's it. Even when, like, once you get the underhook, you could even knee cut kind of slowly. It's not immediate. It doesn't have to be like a super explosive, fast technique. It's great when it works. But if you have the underhook, you could do it pretty slowly and still get good results. Rusty Shackelford. I feel like that's a reference lost on, like, anybody younger than us at this point. Anybody not in their 30s has no idea who Rusty Shackelford. Do you know? Do you get the reference?
I know the reference, but I can't pinpoint it right now.
It's Dale Gribble's alter ego from King
That's
of the
right.
Hill. Yeah.
Yep.
What's up, Brandon? Shout out to you, bud. Yeah, the whole. In fact, the Tom DeBlass Association had a good showing at the comp. There were two other affiliates there. Kraken, which is from like Jacksonville, North Carolina, and then what was the other one, like Crest or something like that? Can't remember.
Crest.
Yeah, they're pretty new affiliates. But I think between the three of us, we put up some really good points. We may have won the overall adult score. I have to go check. All right, Braden and Coop, me and Steven. Braden with the quickness on that heel hook. I didn't even see the entrance. Ah, Cooper just left his leg out. Yeah, and look, I don't expect the kids to get super comfortable here right now. I'd rather see them tapping early on these heel hooks. But, you know, Braden's legs are wide open. I mean, Mike, what would you do here in a situation like this?
I mean, frankly, I'd be attacking Braden's right leg, considering like the leg position of Cooper here.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper doesn't. His knee is on the inside, in between Braden's legs. So I would be probably trying to step through the position here, like turning with the heel hook, and then going on my own attack for an outside heel hook on the on Braden's left leg.
Yeah.
So rolling all the way through. It would be a very exaggerated movement.
So Danny just did something funky. Let's watch Danny and Duncan's scramble here by the TV.
Yeah, Duncan's got his left leg leading pretty heavy. And then Danny's baiting the underhook. And so Duncan goes for the bait, right? Leaves his left leg leading. And then so Danny can pressure down, whizzer down, so to speak, on that shoulder, and then reap that back leg.
Danny steps over into this triangle.
Yep.
Which this is, again, more of a...
Toe hold.
Yeah, I don't know if you could get a strangle here. Well, I don't think you could get a strangle here at all. Like, Duncan's elbow is super low. Like, you know, right here, Duncan's pulling his elbow back towards his body. But what Danny has, we say it all the time, if you don't have the strangle on the triangle, any of the triangles, you still have really good control. So Danny grabs the toe hold here and Duncan can't get the free leg in time to try to disrupt the grip. Meanwhile, Steven and I are trying to kill each other.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen so many takedown attempts. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go back because he shot a double on me and a good one too. Like he got some depth. I don't know how I scrambled out. Yeah, he steps out of that outside trip. But I'm not taking it lying down. Trying to roll through on the leg. Looks like I think I get the knee bar, yeah. That or a heel hook. Cool, we got Victoria and Luke getting after it. You know, it's really funny, like watching Steven and I and thinking about how the competition went. In my first two matches, first one I scored an outside heel hook, second I scored an inside heel hook, and both of those times, like I can confidently say that our blue belts put on so much more resistance to leg attacks than the guys I went up against at the competition. Like the way Steven is positioned right now, that's how similar position to how I think I found myself in my second match. You know, I was on my back, I was attacking from bottom, and the constant forward pressure made it really easy for me to slip into an inside, like a cross ashi and get the inside heel hook. And like, there's no way Steven would let me do that. It's absurd. Even though, you know, he's heavier than me, whatever. I feel like our blue belts and even our white belts don't make a lot of those mistakes, or they learn very quickly what it can lead to, and they make those leg entrances so much more difficult than at least two of the competitors in the advanced or the expert division I faced.
That was a really nice back take from an arm drag that you hit on Steven there. So like, I want to call out, especially for any white belts in the chat, if you notice, like, Steven's keeping a very strong base. He's posted out with his left hand when this happens. So he's not allowing him to like go past this time, like this. He's physically locked down, so to speak. So what Jameson does here is he actually like pulls himself around Steven. You know, imagine that, right? Like we always talk about like how jiu-jitsu isn't a strength-based sport and all of that. And it's more so like you have to think about yourself moving around your opponent rather than you trying to move your opponent. In a lot of cases, not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, and this is a good demonstration of that.
Looks like Cooper's gotten to mount on Braden, and almost into a mounted triangle here. Braden's left arm is inside, but his right arm is out. And I think he recognizes that danger. It looks like he was trying to stop Cooper from stepping his right leg up there.
Yep.
So
his elbows are very tight.
Yeah, he's framing the hips right there. He starts to frame on the leg, trying to get his guard back. Or not even, no, he's more looking to isolate a leg, which is good to see. Defense is always great, but if your defense can be a dangerous offense, that's probably a better option, I would say, than just simply regarding. Cole taking notes from the kids. Did I get the strangle on Steven? Maybe? Yep.
Yep.
I don't think I had strangled him in quite some time. I was pretty thrilled about that one. Good leg entrance.
Trying to go. I'm expecting him to start extending his legs away at some point here soon. Okay, but he lost the grips. Okay.
Yeah. Duncan's doing really well against Danny here. He had him in mount with an underhook and the arm extended. Danny's managed to get the deep half. Damn. Danny just about got the leg exposed. Gets the sweep instead. Let's look at this again. So, here Duncan was in half guard, but with the far side underhook. And even getting Danny into a Katagatame here, but Danny gets his arm safe. Fast forward a little bit. Using that, Danny has a lockdown or a scorpion on the leg, and he uses that as Duncan sits to the hip. Okay, Duncan sat there himself. Danny didn't put him there. We're going to see Danny start digging in onto deep half. So his bottom arm here, his right arm, is going to take a scoop grip eventually on, yep, there it is, on Duncan's leg. And then what Danny's looking to do here is really control the position of Duncan's hips. So if he can, right here, if he can get Duncan's hips above his own, Danny has a lot more say in what's going to happen next than Duncan does. Duncan has a base and a frame, like a cross face right now, but Danny has the ability to elevate and to move Duncan around. So he elevates the leg here. Could have sat in, or let's see, could he? I guess, so the fact that Danny brought his left leg up and around, the cross Ashi entrance goes away. He never really had X guard, so I guess he couldn't have really done it. But he comes up for the straight Ashi entrance instead and immediately attacks the exposed heel. And I guess he either loses it or chooses differently and then uses the sweep instead of the leg attack to get up and quickly pass the guard. Coop, what did Coop do here?
He got a pretty slick armbar.
Looks like he controlled Braden here for a little bit. He got up into... So he's in a dorsal Kimura position because he doesn't have the arms trapped. Now he's into like, okay, he switches sides on the dorsal because Braden rolled and was able to basically just turn 180. He's got very good control of the arm here. And the head, for that matter. Let's see. All right, so disengages that top dorsal Kimura position. So the positions he's working right now work really well for Kimura. I'm surprised to see him pull an armbar out of this.
I mean, I use similar strategies, right? I feel like wherever I have a Kimura from north-south or side control, I also have an armbar. So he's lifting up that left arm. Maybe he is trying to isolate for a Kimura, But he's essentially in a three-quarter Juji Katame, or a three-quarter armbar, where his left leg isn't across the body. So he's got a cross-face leg with his right leg, and then his left leg is in that three-quarter position, right? It's not fully across the belly or the midsection. More what you see from from a judo practitioner on how they finish an armbar.
I think they call that actually quarter. Like, I think that's a quarter.
Quarter juji. Sorry, not three-quarter. That would be across the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
But yeah, you're right though. Like, what, after a seonagi or yeah, I guess after that, maybe even like a standing seonagi throw, if they control the arm, they often land with that foot under the torso instead of over it. Yeah, that was a
he was stoked about it too. See that?
What was that?
He was stoked about it too. I don't know if you saw it smile.
Speaking of smiles, here's Ronnie.
Always a good time.
We got Mitchell and Cole going on behind that. And then Daniel and Luke. Luke on a straight arm here. Udi Gatame.
Daniel's arm has quite the bend in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very smart of Daniel to start pummeling and getting that underhook to relieve the threat.
Yeah, and he's really leaning into that, trying to shove his elbow up towards the shoulder to take Luke's fulcrum away from where the elbow is. Ronnie, great sweep. You see that finish? She's got like the single leg and like basically a cradle on Steven. Just turns him over. Looks like Cooper's really digging arm drags.
He is. You see him do that a lot.
It's good. That'll work well for him.
Mm-hmm. And then he gets into into closed guard, and he's able to lock a triangle around all of the other kids his age.
Dude, I'm pretty sure he locks a body triangle from the front on me if he wants to.
Yeah.
All right, Duncan and Cody. Really like to see Cody whizzing down heavy on this underhook. Try to negate it. Or disengage. Take the underhook away if you can. Try to work a duck under. Wow, Ronnie looking for the Americana on Steven.
Doing some really good body drills. Yeah, really good body drills on that too.
Yeah, let's look at this. So
over underpass, essentially. It's a little windshield wiper.
Good leg movement there. She kind of pummeled over. She's got that north-south control that she works. I really hate when she figured out how to do that. She leveled up and got immediately so much more dangerous. And then now I love what she does there. That's like Coach Mike's style of mount taking, where he gathers up the legs, takes a big step over.
Yep.
And again, even more reminiscent of Bertram's, some of his favorite moves. That elbow right in the head, attacking that the Americana from mount, which again you don't see too frequently. Typically a good bridge and tucking your elbow, and you could sometimes get out of that, but with that elbow right into the side of the head, taking your head off axis from your spine, makes it a little bit more difficult to hit that that defense. Steven out for blood now. We miss anything from Luke and Daniel? I don't think so. Looks like they just rolled a bit.
Yeah, I think Luke goes to try to get the turtle here because Daniel's going for his armbar, and then Luke rotates out.
Oof. It's a bad spot to be in.
Yeah, they're both in a mutual reverse Kimura.
Yeah.
Daniel's staying very heavy on the hips here. Well, actually, he does really good with just distributing his weight very, very well across the body.
Did Steven and Ronnie get something here? It looks like Ronnie had. I couldn't tell what Ronnie did.
I'm not sure.
Crank on that arm somehow.
Maybe. Duncan's got a little a triangle going here on Cody.
See if he can control Cody's left arm. Last Tuesday.
Just cut his ankle. No, he gets thrown by. Yep.
If there's anything to look online first. I was just confused about it. Does it have a name so I can look up videos? Let's see. Last Tuesday with Mike. I think I was there. We went over an arm lock, shoulder press thing. He showed us with. So we're on back control this week, or we were last week as well. Trying to think of what we went over, because I was, of course, he made us take the gi off, and we practiced with some. Did a little bit of hand fighting. I gotta think about this. Showed us an arm break. Now, if we did back stuff and it ended with an arm break, it may have just been a transition to an arm bar from the back.
Sure you're not talking about Thursday, because that's what Luke went over.
If it was went over, so Josh, the Russian tie, you might be onto something. Zane, was it from a standing position, or were we on our butts? If it was from the standing position, yeah, we went over the Russian tie, which that's where, so like it puts arm pressure, it puts arm breaking pressure on the elbow if you manipulate the arm to where like the elbow points up. Let's see, I'm kind of off camera. If you extend the arm and you put downward pressure on the elbow while you hold it against your chest, that can elicit arm breaking pressure. You look up, if you want to look up videos on that, just search on YouTube Russian tie. There are a million things you can do from it. So you'll see a lot of different variation. You could look at Grigory Ivanov.
Yeah, Ivanov.
Yeah, Grigory Ivanov. I might be getting his name slightly wrong. It's a Russian guy, or Czech or something. Look him up. Search his stuff out. You might be able to find some good stuff from him. And for what it's worth, I think, hell yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I love the Russian tie. I think you've been playing around with it a lot too.
I do, yeah. I enjoy it.
Tried working it a bit at the competition, but I just kept getting people pull away from me or club me in the head, so didn't have a chance.
That kid, yeah.
I always take the audio out of our competition videos just because people can be really loud yelling next to like the cell phones or whatever. But I kind of want to leave the audio in for that match, or at least the part where he smacks my neck, just to hear how loud the pop was. Danny's trying to step over to the cross Ashi. What stopped him there?
Luke is just turning towards him, and he winds up getting a really strong neck grip.
Yeah, Danny also has his right arm up around Luke's head. So he's right now he's splitting his power between the upper body and the lower body. Whereas if you're gonna sit to cross Ashi, I wouldn't want to go any higher up. Like I wouldn't want my upper body connection to be any higher than an underhook on the far side. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like Danny's got the cross face with his right arm. Luke has an underhook. So as Danny goes to step over here, you can tell like he kind of hesitates because he's a little bit stuck up top. At this point, he's going to have to transition to attacking the lower body, but his right arm is up top. He doesn't make that transition in time, and Luke can kind of keep him off balance before Danny can set up the triangle around the leg. I think, Danny, if you're going to do that back step, kind of prepare for it by keeping your arms controlling the hips instead of the head. Cole being very controlling. Doesn't get the back take, though. I don't think he had the knee up by the head there. Way up over the top, almost in like a hip bump sweep position, but with the head in. But he's not connected to the ground well enough to work the hip bump. Yeah, should dig in on the shoulder crunch there. That was nice. A simple little dilemma there between for Steven here. So as Cole reaches over, I mean, he even has wrist control. Steven knows he's in Kimura danger. So if he hides his hands, he no longer has a base with his right arm for Cole to attack, because, you know, it keeps his arm safe. But since he no longer has a base, he can more easily be taken over with that that hip bump sweep that Cole was setting up just a couple seconds ago. Cole is actually now in a more traditional hip bump sweep position, where with the head on the outside rather than on the inside. So here he attacked the Kimura. Steven opted to remove his base to keep his arm safe, and in doing so, he gets swept, and Cole puts him in the mount. Now Cole needs to get that knee up behind the head if he's looking for this back take.
He's already off.
Or this.
Here. So if Steven rotates to his left, Cole loses the opportunity for a back take. Opportunities there again. Yes. So I like what Cole did. I know it's very minor, but using his left foot to plant and shift his ass out towards the camera. So watch what he does here. He pulls, but then this second plant, see how he scoots his hips out towards us? That's what actually makes the back take. If he were to just sit back and try and do what he was just about to do with snagging the far arm and everything and trying to pull Steven back, Steven could easily start rotating away, towards the monitor there, or the screen, and get back into a closed guard. But here, Cole gets all the way behind Steven and then can take the back. Very small detail that's pretty profound in the whole exercise.
And now he's just being a jerk. Supermaning on Steven. So that stepping over the head that he was doing isn't really going to be effective for anything unless there's an arm in between his legs as well. That's where we saw some of the reverse triangle setup, the transition to the side triangle that we looked at a few weeks ago. Right here, let's see what happened there. This looks more, I was gonna say this has to be like a lat finish. So Cole's almost to the 3/4 armbar. If you brought the, oh yeah. So this is an interesting style of finish because it mixes the lat pinch finish on the arm with more of a triangle on the head. If I was doing this and everything was ideal, I would slip this knee over top of Steven's face. Even though it's fun to make your opponent look at his arm while it's breaking, I'll opt for control over the savagery there. But either way, he's got enough control over Steven's arm. It's hard to tell what he's doing with his grips. I think Steven's... Yeah, they're like working through it. I think Steven's elbow is probably not pointing in the exact proper direction that Cole's trying to take it, just evidenced by like the way his palm is pointing. That's like the way his elbow is also pointing. So you can watch Cole as he bends into it prior to that. Yeah, like right here, he's not breaking at the joint the way he wants to. So Steven adjusts his arm, they start going over it. Cole puts pressure in the right direction and gets the tap. That's probably what they're talking about right now. Yeah, that Russian tie is I guess not everybody calls it that. Maybe the Eastern blockers don't. They refuse to.
I know Ivanov has the video out there just called the 2-on-1.
Yeah, 2-on-1 encyclopedia or something.
Yep.
Steven ripping on a heel hook. We got Luke transitioning to a wrong way triangle on Danny. Getting a quick tap. Then, is that Jordan and Ted? Jordan just about getting it. So Jordan, you had the right idea. Digging for the leg, it looked like you were trying to cut the angle. The only reason Ted beat you out of this was he took control of his posture and put enough pressure, backwards pressure on your ankles to like pop your legs open. Remember, and you're probably seeing it now just because it's clear as day from the video, triangles and arm bars are always very, very closely related. So even if you can't, a lot of times when you see guys failing at the triangle strangle, they'll use their crossed legs, what we refer to often as a trap triangle. They'll use that to control the head and shoulders, but then attack the arm. So right now, Ted's arm is in a fairly compromised position, which I think he knows. You can see him trying to sneak it out right now. Also, once he gets that arm out, he has two arms on the outside, aka no triangle. So keep that in mind. You can dig on the leg like you're doing. It gets you a good angle for an arm bar as well. But just start thinking about triangles and arm bars. They're right next to each other almost all the time. Cole is attacking the secondary leg right now. He gets his leg free.
That's a dangerous play.
Yeah. Me and Gavin having a battle. Uchimata. Alright, so Ted and Jordan are looking at this again. Jordan, it looks like you were focusing on the triangle here, just like trying to go through the mechanics of it, which is totally fine. Definitely work on that if you're curious about it. I always encourage you guys to let your curiosity about submissions lead you to what you guys should be learning.
If you have any more questions about it, like if this just springs up some thoughts and whatnot, you know, me and Matt will be there tomorrow. So find us.
So, yeah, the triangle, especially for white belts, and this includes me, like when I was a white belt, I was like, I'll never do a triangle. My legs are short, you know, everybody's bigger than me. It just comes off as a very weak position, but it's not anything you can't learn to do. You just really got to work on the mechanics, which it seems like you're already kind of thinking about with how you were cutting that angle. You just have to get the other parts under control, like posture, and really that, I mean, at least from the roll with Ted, that was probably the main thing. But Coop on a leg, what did he get there? Was that a straight ankle?
Straight ankle.
Gavin working through the finish. So I think that was a good. So I've been trying to correct this with some of the students. I can't remember if I talked about that with Gavin. I mean, this was December 3rd, so I can't remember if I talked about that with him after. But how he's going to finish this strangle here and get that second arm in. He's doing a really good job with this final hand fight. His right hand against my right hand. He's hiding his left hand knuckles with his chin, and he knows that I'm trying to grab his knuckle line with my right hand, and he's keeping my arm away. And the second he feels like he can, he brings his own arm up, hides his knuckles, and then slides that arm in behind my head. What I don't see here, and I know I've talked about this with him since, the knuckles from his left hand, I'd like to see on top of his bicep. I think him and a couple, maybe Braden and Cooper, I think they were hiding their knuckles underneath their right arm rather than on top of their right arm. So when you have their neck, you slide through. I want to see your hands up by like each shoulder. So I'm trying to think about when I strangle somebody up here, I like to see these fingertips right here on my shoulder, and then the other side is going to be behind the head to where they can't get it anyway. So make sure that you're seeing your fingertips; they're not hiding underneath your arm.
Jordan is over there feeling the north-south choke from Daniel. I bet that feels amazing, Jordan. I myself do not enjoy it.
Yeah. Damn, seeing I don't normally like to call out people I just see in the chat if they're lurking. I don't want to like put anybody on blast, but I see Illumio hanging in here. We haven't talked to you in a while, bud. Good to see you in the chat hanging out. He was our I think our first like international friend who chimed in.
That's right.
What's up, bud? Sorry to put you on blast if you just wanted to lurk.
Yeah.
How you been? You still training? Let's see, looks like I'm taking Gavin through the straight ankle mechanics. Nice, cool. So do you have a few good training partners, or are you just like, you still at a school and you get to train at home now as well? Or I imagine the community might be a little limited where you are. Braden with the heavy takedown.
Oh, great. Yeah, so you do have people come in your house. That's awesome.
Look at this lat drop from Braden. So he's got his overhook and underhook, and just throws his entire body. That was great. Really, really good commitment on that. That's awesome, man. Glad to hear you get to keep on training.
That's awesome, yeah.
First national BJJ championship. That's cool. Did you get to compete in it, or were you just going to watch? Is there a good turnout?
You mean it just brought more people in because it kind of brought interest to the sport? Curious to learn more. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. What was the what banner was it under? Was it like an IBJJF, or like a more of a local thing, like a Naga or a New Breed?
Braden is trying to get this Kimura on Cooper. Cooper not relenting. He just put his hand right back in front of his belly here.
That's cool, man. I'm glad.
It's good to see it going though. Like, I mean, that's great to see it actually on the island.
Yeah. I like that Braden is not concerned about trying to work the standing guard break. He seems really committed to it, despite the connection with the legs. He knows his base right now. I want to see him standing up more rather than attacking that arm. Cooper got the jump on him. Curacao Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation. That's awesome, man. I'll look that up. I love that even like a smaller jiu-jitsu community is getting some organization. Yeah, send it if you don't mind. DM it to me here, because I think you could post it in the chat, but it might just like censor it out. I don't know if I think Twitch always censors the links. But yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to watch that. So I don't have any real faith in that Americana from where I'm working. I'm deep in half guard right now. Cole has a real serious bite on my leg. But what that Americana is giving me is an underhook. So if I can get there we go. I get to mount. I lose the underhook. I try to regain it. I get that elbow up over the shoulder. Try to get to work. Cole at some point here is probably just going to like turn me over and put me on my back. But I'll make him work for it. And notice every time he gets me off balance and I have to base out, he gets his arm back. So like that's immediately what he's doing. As soon as I get that arm up over his head, he tries to sweep me, I base out, and then he gets his arm safe. Opting to make a quick jump up to a mounted triangle position, but that's going to be a tough finish. Thanks, man. How did you and your buddy do? I didn't even see the finish. I was looking at the link. Oh, I got a mounted triangle. Hell yeah. We had a competition yesterday, actually, where a bunch of us went. Um, we'll be going over that footage on Wednesday if you want to come back and check it out. Yeah, I always feel, I mean, I feel like we've thrown this out there to a lot of our viewers outside of the school students, but we're always down to watch some other footage too. Illumio, if you're interested in sharing anything, I don't, again, like, I don't want to, you know, blow up your spot and, you know, give away any of your anonymity, or that of your friends either. But if you guys want us to look at some footage, we're always interested. I'm digging real deep on this arm for Cole. Right on.
I was just looking at Curacao. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah. Cole working the step over triangle escape.
Looks like you're coaching him through it there.
Yeah.
Duncan is
dying.
Almost dying. There you go.
So yeah, I was taking Cole through the step over escape into the cross Ashigarami, which if you guys aren't familiar, we'll look at the triangle setup. Since he's already on his butt, he's gonna try to posture up and get his back nice and straight so he's not bent over into this triangle. He takes one leg over the body, the other leg over. Typically, you want to cross your ankles. You can also alternatively put your feet in the armpits and kind of extend your body away, push them away with your legs as you straighten out your back. That will put a lot of pressure on the ankles and will typically pop it open. Then once you do that, you control one of the legs, and you could either you could control both legs and like end up working towards a pass where you sit up and with V grips kind of keep the legs away so that they can't sit up, and then you can transition past the legs. Or like I show Cole here, you can switch into cross ashi where he takes an outside leg over and cuts his angle. Now he triangles his legs around my leg, and he's into a cross ashi where he can attack inside heel hooks or knee bars or whatever. Dude, I've taught private lessons. I've never taught a seminar. I would love to book my first seminar in like a beautiful island country. That would sound,
yeah, right.
That would be amazing. Maybe once I get my black belt and I don't feel like a fraud for
yeah
charging for a seminar. Otherwise, if I come to Curacao before that, I'll just hit you up and we could roll. It'll be fun. Be like
30 people is a good amount.
Hey man, when Tom DeBlas came to our school, we capped it at 30 people for that seminar. Yep. So it's a good number. Yeah, I can't say I know too much about it, man, but
it's like right above Venezuela.
I'd love to visit.
Yeah. Wow.
Damn. So I think we've seen this, you know, again, this footage is over a month old, so maybe Danny's tightened this up a little bit, but we've seen some of these passes from him where he's trying to hit these knee cuts without that underhook. Here he managed to do well with it. I don't think Cole really shucked by too hard. Danny kind of put him flat and led with his knee across the body. I think more often than not, that's not going to work out the way he wants. So I'd like to see you guys really prioritizing that underhook when you're trying to pass from half guard or trying to pass with a knee cut. Coop with the rolling Kimura.
Oh, really?
I think they were just practicing that. Maybe.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. That looked a little
Nice.
controlled. Looks like Danny's thinking about the back step, but Cole gets to jump on him for the turn. Cole's got to recollect that knee there. Yeah, good counter from Danny. Yeah, Danny knew immediately he had Cole's legs tied up. That was a good heel hook finish. I feel like Danny really wants that back step. Yeah, he's exposing his back so much there, just like the way he's blading his body.
Yeah, you're right though in your previous assessment of it. Like the backstep is going to be more effective if you stay heavier on the hips. So I mean, even where he is right now, it's not that bad. But you're what I actually like to do is, and you can see this in some of Craig Jones's earlier matches, is really attacking the opposite leg. If you attack somebody's opposite leg or the other leg, in this case it would be Cole's right leg. So if Danny attacks Cole's right leg, Cole, it's almost natural that Cole would start to sit up to try and protect that leg, right? He doesn't want to just like lay back and let somebody do something. And when he sits up, his left leg is going to start shooting through, and when that happens, the back step becomes deep, right? And then you can go into that cross-latching position.
So would you suggest like attacking it with a toe hold? In that
I
case,
would
or
even
something?
go in. Yeah, I would say
standing heel
actually
hook?
just scooping it up and threatening. Cause think about the dilemma that you can start putting on somebody here.
Yeah.
Your right leg is in between their legs. If you're able to snatch a straight ankle grip on Cole's right leg and step over that hook that Cole has with his left leg, then you have an Ashi Garami entrance on the right leg. So in order to prevent that, you're normally extending away, and trying to sit up to try and get around that. So I mean, even just a simple threat of a straight ankle on that far leg would be enough to get him moving in the right direction for you.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Braden trying to work to a high mount, transition to an armbar. See if Gavin can.
Oh, look at that.
That was great.
Calm,
He just
collected.
yeah, just unpeeled the whole thing. I like that Gavin's immediately making this connection with the knees. Braden's doing a good job countering. Like right there, we saw him kind of like almost arm drag him by. That was a slick little arm drag too. Just got him right behind the tricep. Kept him going. That was nice.
Yeah.
I want to try that. Oh man, Gavin almost came up on that. That was a really good move from both of them. Oh, looks like he got caught.
So I really like what Cole just did to Danny here. He was kind of causing some sort of, mount dilemma here, to where so Danny's got him in this 3/4 mount. I think Cole winds up stepping up his left leg, but I think he gets into a mount first. So let's see how this plays out real quick. Yeah, so okay, he captures that far arm. Waiting.
Probably talking some smack.
There it is. So now he slips through into to where I guess he's still in three-quarter into a three-quarter mount here, but he steps up that left leg, and Danny just kind of like lets his arm flop, and so Cole just reaches up and is able to shelf his leg and start putting Kimura like shoulder pressure on Danny here.
Mm.
And Danny's already trapped because he's already, he's got his thigh pinned because now he's in three-quarter mount instead of being able to let go and kind of rotate around the body.
Yeah. Gotta get his hips behind the knee. Cole doesn't have a knee bar right now.
He does have. What was that?
Oh, Danny got. Danny just cranked his foot.
Inside heel hook.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, Cole could have transitioned that, I think, if he had his feet under his own control, into an outside heel hook.
Cole, just for those in the chat, Cole's put a lot of time into leg lock since this video, so he was probably just starting out being interested in the leg positions.
And I think he started with knee bars too, like that was his primary focus.
Mm-hmm.
Luke with the Americano on Daniel. From top half, actually. Yeah, he gets the
Joey Niba.
More of a straight arm, not the Americano. I'm so glad that moment in jiu-jitsu history was captured. And it's like 10 years old, I think, too.
What do you mean, no knee bars?
That's the best. Nothing like an outraged Bostonian.
Yeah, right.
Looks like Cole had some either nasty head or neck pressure, or yeah, I think it was Danny's neck on that one. Cole doesn't know what he has.
I know.
So frustrating.
I'm like, I would pay to get in that position now.
Right. Did you see Mikey Musumeci's K-guard entrance to Mikey lock to just knee destruction?
I didn't. I gotta watch it. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
So I haven't seen the whole match. I should watch it, but I saw like that exchange, and it's just the gnarliest. I just don't know why people don't tap, man. I'd rather tap and take the L, even when there's like money involved, than to have to sit out an entire year and have surgery. It's just wild, man. That guy let his leg shatter, apparently.
Yeah.
From what I don't know if it's the real picture. I mean, it's the internet, so who knows? But that dude, his opponent, has his entire leg in a cast. His whole entire leg had to have some work done to it. It was so nasty.
Doesn't seem worth it.
No. Dude, I hurt my neck at training, and the stupid sport doesn't seem worth it. I couldn't imagine letting my knee blow apart like that. It's all right when we're doing seminars in Curacao, it'll all be worth it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Ted has been around long enough for me to give my standing guard break monologue yet. But he is staying pretty tight. He's not letting one single arm be trapped inside. Danny's taking advantage though. But yeah, Ted wasn't really near breaking that guard open. Nice back step from Danny.
Step. Yeah, that was really nice. Good regarding from Danny.
So let's see. Danny's got an underhook and an overhook. Let's see if he takes him to the left side. No, he opts to try to stand up.
Yeah. He got to the guillotine instead.
That's interesting too. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that's kind of like you know, it's a popular like when you first start learning combinations in jiu-jitsu, you learn a couple of them, right? There's the triangle armbar omoplata, you know, like and the variation of that, like trifecta of submissions, and then you've got the Kimura hip bump sweep and guillotine, and this is the latter, right? So you'll see, you know, Danny, again, he's trying to take him over with an over-under, simple butterfly, get on top. He then switches to doing almost like a hip bump sweep, but he winds up just heisting up, noticing that Ted's head is lower than his shoulder, and he's just going to go and scoop up the neck right here. Boom.
Yeah, I like this as its own, like you said, it's kind of its own little thing. The because how many times have we found ourselves sitting like this with Luke? You know, we're in butterfly guard. He goes to smash our heels into our butt, kind of immobilize us. We go to stand up. He barrels into us. I think one thing Luke does very differently from how Ted is doing it right now is he tends to keep his head right up the center, which you can't be guillotined really with your head up the center. There are 10-finger guillotines and stuff, but that's a little different than what we're talking about. But if you can go to stand up and someone says, no, I'm going to keep you down, and they take their head off center, or better yet, you force their head off center, you can feint a stand up and escape and bait them into coming towards you and sinking this guillotine. This is a cool little pairing that Danny put together here. It's a deep guillotine too. Low elbow position, but very effective. Danny's with this over tie right now. Little front headlock, takedown there. I don't know what you'd call that. So Danny was about to turn the corner there for a mounted triangle, but he opted to go to his back, which I don't think is a terrible decision. I think a lot of guys feel much more comfortable finishing a triangle from the back than they do from a mounted position. It's so much more difficult to get your legs where you want them when your body weight and your opponent's upper body weight are kind of smashing them into place. They kind of go out the round. And who am I with? Is that Duncan? Yeah.
Duncan.
So that's what I just did with Duncan, where I turned the corner here on half guard. This is the other 270-degree opposite of a backstep, like we saw Danny doing. Danny backsteps 90 degrees, gets into cross ashi. I just kind of circle around, 3/4 of the way and end up in the same position. Notice here though, all my weight is really focused over Duncan's hips. There's a split second there at the beginning as I make my transition that I have my base kind of up here. I would honestly say that's a mistake on my part. I should be basing out a little bit lower with my hand more along Duncan's hip line. There I kind of make a transition to where it should have been. And I circle my way around. And I can do that nice and slow. I don't have to do some quick spin around the leg to, threaten a knee bar or something like that. My legs must have been fairly loose there. Duncan came up and didn't have much trouble inverting his knee. But that's the other way. The back step is one way to get to that cross ashi. Turning the corner is the other way that you'll see it being done from top half guard. Big double from Steven.
Mm-hmm. So interestingly enough, Danny's trying the exact same thing that he did with Ted on Steven, and Steven is just closing his hips in on Danny to keep that from really working, which is what Luke is going to do with you too when that happens. Steven's trying the old switcheroo.
Ooh,
there, winds up getting it. And then Steven winds up doing the exact same thing on Danny that Danny did to Ted.
Yeah. For Danny's double here, let's see. Go back a little bit further. I wish Danny would have cut an angle here. It's going to be, he's a little less agile since he's on his knees instead of his feet. But yeah, as soon as Steven falls to the side here, let's see. So Steven doesn't have the high elbow position, which is a good thing for Danny. A high elbow, even from this cross-side position, a high elbow position, which, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, that means this elbow is basically like up and over top of his back. Like it's a very, very mechanically tight finish on the guillotine, and you could conceivably finish the guillotine with a high elbow position even if somebody gets to cross side. You still have their neck really like isolated and cinched with your arms. Since Steven has a low elbow position, Danny could kind of do two things in this position. He could either get his knees to the mat and start let's see if because he has his arm out, so I like what he's doing here, but he keeps his legs a little too far out, or Steven makes it too difficult for him to close into a side control position. Steven manages to beat the legs. The other thing Danny could do here is roll. Basically roll his back, roll that beautiful lion logo right on top of Steven's face, keep on going to where his back is, or I'm sorry, to where his chest is pointing up to the ceiling, and that's going to take a lot of the strangle pressure away, and it gets both of them on their backs. Steven's not going to be able to come up and finish that strangle from there unless Danny makes some really like egregious mistakes and just kind of like continues to roll with him. But that's you'll often see guillotine escapes incorporating a roll rather than jumping to cross side or trying to strip off a very tight grip or something like that. I think, Mike, you tend to utilize rolls more than I do out of guillotines.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I've made automatic. I really should work on that.
You I mean, there's an inherent risk there, right? You put yourself on your back, so you have to be very confident in your scrambling or your escapes from that bottom position, because it's highly likely that your opponent will be able to use gravity and keep you down while they get back up on top, but you're not being strangled.
Yeah. Steven's not going to do much with that arm, with Danny's arm that he has in his legs. Kind of just gives Danny an opportunity to cradle him. And Danny's taking full advantage. Looks like Danny's having a bad day and Steven is consoling him. Danny's crying real hard. Steven's telling him it's all right.
That's what friends are for, man.
That's right.
Back into the guillotine.
So I had a nice armbar attack set up on Duncan here, and he did a great job stacking into me. But the problem with that stack is, let's see, I can start to turn my way out of it. So I kind of invert, and right now I took my head from this side of his body where he was stacking, and now my head, you just barely see it poking out here. That doesn't get his arm any more free. His arm is still like in a dangerous spot, and now I'm kind of in a way behind him where you can see I'll grab his leg, I'll pull his legs closer to me, and then I'll pull his whole body up and over, and we're back into that supine armbar attack position. We got a little too close to the edge, so we just reset. But that's an example of why stacking out of arm bars or even triangles isn't always a sure thing. If they're comfortable on their neck and they could turn around and invert and then control your legs, they could just kind of put you back to your back and get to where they were before. Good armbar attacking from Braden here.
Yeah, I really like that entrance.
All right, last round. Going after Braden. We got Daniel and Steven. Steven immediately on a guillotine. Daniel doesn't seem to be too phased, but I guess he was. See why that worked as well as it did. Okay, so Steven initiates that with a snap down. Like snap down the front headlock. Puts the basketball on the hoop. And yeah, that was tight all the way through. I guess Daniel couldn't get to his position where he felt like his neck was safe. Either didn't get the roll. I think if he had rolled to his back, Steven was in a position to come up to mount and continue finishing that guillotine, so that probably wouldn't have been a beneficial spot there. I like it. Steven took his time to work his standing guard break until he felt like he could control Daniel's arms. Now he just has to stand up. Gonna be a little hard. Daniel's putting some leverage on his back there.
Straight in on the leg.
Yeah, but his outside leg is trapped. There we go. Again, I can't tell if Daniel's letting him work or if he's just not too worried about it. Now he should be worried about it. Should definitely be worried about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Daniel's escape there early on was while Steven's leg was trapped under the hip. It would have been to scooch his hips out, get past, get his hips outside of Steven's knee line. Did I tap the child? What did I do? Oh no, he got me. He got me with an armbar. Nice.
Take care, Lumio. Good to
Have
see
a
you,
good
man.
one, brother. Good talking to you. I'll check out those videos you sent us, and I'll send you the links, Mike.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, Daniel's in his
In his
prime
element.
smothering position. And I think this was after he and I talked about having him work on mount position more. I know we got into the holidays and he had a lot of traveling he was doing, so I don't think I've seen him working too much lately. Like he hasn't been on a lot of the videos we've reviewed. But it'll be good to see how he's working on the mount position.
Yeah, last I trained with him, he was very focused on it.
Good transition to the back.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his ankles crossed, but they're sitting a little higher, so he doesn't have to worry too much about any sneaky foot locks. What I'd really like to see him doing right now is isolating Steven's arms. Steven's just kind of framing, keeping Daniel in a low mount. But neither one is really making progress. Steven's not working any escapes, which is difficult to do against Daniel. Daniel knows exactly what you're going to do. He knows you're not going to really be able to kip out from underneath him. It's a little bit more difficult to get him off balance. But he knows when you're setting up for elbow escape, so he's going to disrupt your grip. He needs Daniel himself needs to be working on isolating those arms from the body, working towards underhooks. Or maybe even Americanas. I mean, if he could pin somebody's shoulders and control that arm in an Americana, I think he'd have a dangerous attack there. But yeah, cool. Always good to see what kind of progress you guys make from month to month. So, in any case, thanks for tuning in tonight. For everybody hoping we would go over the competition footage, we just had too many videos that we need to compile. I got to get them all together, so I should have all of them hopefully by tomorrow, and then they'll be ready to go over on Wednesday, which I'm really excited for. What else? You're teaching tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Yep,
so, yeah, we're still
week.
Yeah, still at second week of back week. And then quick turnaround in the competition schedule for anybody interested. You're very welcome, Josh. I'll talk to you about getting your videos. Anybody interested, in 2 weeks, January 28th, there's another competition, New Breed, out in Concord. So if you guys want to compete at that, I hope you've been training hard enough. If you couldn't make it to this one, that you're prepared anyway for the next. If you couldn't make it to the one this past weekend, rather, you're prepared for the one 2 weekends from now. As always, talk to us if you guys want to compete. We'll make sure that there are coaches out there to help you guys through the day. I don't think I'm going to do that one. I'm just going to kind of let my shoulder rest. I kind of went in with a bum shoulder for this one, and I don't really feel like pushing it. So, but we'll certainly coach if you guys are stepping up to it. What else? I think that's about it, business-wise.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. In any case, follow us here if you're lurking, and subscribe here if you'd like what we're doing. Yeah, thank you, Jordan. You can subscribe with your Twitch Prime as well. So we really appreciate the support. You could also do that over at coffee.com/mobjj and leave us a tip. Check us out over on YouTube. This video will be up there for you guys to review. Subscribe there as well. And yeah, we'll let it go at that. In the meantime, go and trim your nails, fingers and toes, and go and do your laundry. And do not be stinky. And we will see you guys back at class this week. Take it easy.
Later.